desperate people will do desperate things. It was incredible, actually, to kind of actualize a lot of things that I'd experienced since I was really young. I mean, I'm 79 baby, so I grew up in the 80s and 90s crack epidemic that was scoured, my neighborhood and was my landscape. And, so I as soon as I, got, my manager who represents Vanessa and I were on our way to Cannes. We're on the plane. He just shows me the scene on his cell phone. It's like, hey, we're doing this movie. You want to do this cameo of her mom, and this is the story. And I was like, okay, my mom was a teen mom. I work with a lot of organizations. I've grown up sort of in a lot of different shelters and things. So like, Al touches my heart. I grew up with family members who were drug addicts. I'm like, cool, no problem. But I had no idea, just really the depth of getting into it, what that was going to do, and how upsetting and raw it was. But I was glad that we were all making the same movie. I think, as you can see from Ron, he came from a kind of documentary background, and it was really important for him to be as realistic and clear and honest with this information. And he really rigorously made sure that we were really using the proper language, that we were really telling the stories. When I attack her in the church with a razor in my mouth, that's not something he made up. He was actually in that church and witnessed this girl get attacked by her mom with a razor. And it's like, you can't make up this stuff. So I think, shooting in the actual shelter, having a lot of the girls who were in it, there was no question about it being vanity or that. It was actually just about, we're making this movie and we're going to tell it to the best of our ability and be as clear about it, because this affects real people, and this is something I've personally been affected by. I've had family members who have heroin and crack addictions and like all types of things that were really so strong for me, that it was, it was really, it was a pleasure in a lot of ways. It was really distressing and it was really hard, but it was a pleasure to really show that type of human being and that struggle, because I think we can all really relate to it. And I think that's really necessary. I felt like, actually, I remember the first day, I feel like Vanessa and I felt really relieved, actually, like watching, she put this weight on, she'd cut her hair, we really kind of getting into it, and here I am, putting this enamel on my teeth, and I think we both just looked at each other like, oh my God, because to do this story, you got to get into it, and it would be terrible if I'm going through all of this transformation, or she's going through all this transformation, and the other one isn't, and you start suddenly look cartoonish, and you are making a movie, and it's like, no, actually, we really are trying to share something more than just that, and so I think that was actually really quite great, and it was real too. Like, I remember the first day we're shooting, and this crack addict came up to me. And it was like looking in the mirror, like, as,
wow.
Just in case in case we felt like, is this too much? I grew up with it. It was like, is it going to read weird on camera? And this person walked up, and it was literally like looking in a mirror, the deteriorated skin, the distraught teeth. Like, it was like, oh yeah, this is what happens with years of drug abuse, what you actually look like. We were able to transform you into that in half an hour. But that's what it actually looks like. And that's important to put that in there,